Pinedale High School, Pinedale Middle School, Big Piney, thanks for being here. As we get started with the presentation, I just ask that you be respectful. Remember, cell phones, hats, headphones, all put away. Make sure that we're respectful and that we represent Pinedale and Big Piney in the appropriate manner. Thank you.
They're going to bring that out, the goodness and the American spirit and the patriotism. They're going to bring that out for generations to come. That's why I think it's such a great organization that they have here.
So we have to create this awareness, and that's why I'm extremely passionate about the Center for American Values. It has that mission to recognize the sacrifices made by those, ensure that they're never forgotten.
Make sure you try to get over to the Center for American Values. They're doing great work over there. Want to thank my dear friend Drew Dix. Thank you, Drew, for all you do and for all you have done for our country. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
I've met incredible people that humble me, and they make me want to be a better man. And that's why I keep going and doing it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. What a great day to be an American, and what a great day to be in Sublette County. Welcome to you all. At this time, we will begin by the presentation of the colors, led by the American Legion Phillips Edwards Post 47 and VFW Post 4801. After which the national anthem will be sung by the Pinedale High School Choir, and then we will receive an invocation by Randy Belton. Please stand, remove cover, and remain standing through the end of the invocation, please.
morning. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for being always with us and gracing us with your Son, Jesus Christ. Jesus, who has shown us your will and your great love for us. Hear our prayer for wisdom and fill us with your love and your understanding. Help us to study by giving us a clear mind and a calm heart. Help us to use the mind you have given us to learn and study effectively. May we learn with humility and grace. May we grow in wisdom as well as knowledge. Help us to live a life of integrity in everything that we do. May your peace be in our hearts, your grace be in our words, your love be in our hands, and your joy be in our souls. When we are filled with anxiety and uncertainty about our studies in life, would you calm our fears and fill our minds with your peace? Thank you that we are never alone, because you are always with me, and that there are true relationships in our life that we can always count on when we are troubled. Give us assurance that you are working everything for our good and your glory. We pray especially for our families, our friends, all the people in need around this world. We pray for our first responders, our active duty men and women in the military, and our veterans. May your love be the passion in our hearts. May your joy be the strength when times are hard. May your presence be our peace that overflows. This we ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we won the lottery just by living where we do. To be able to post the colors, sing our national anthem, and speak to our God in a school is a wonderful blessing. And thank you for that opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Belton. Appreciate that prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, we are deeply honored to be here this day. We want to especially point out the distinguished veterans representing the American Legion Post 47, the VFW Post 4801, and the Pinedale High School Choir, and the young folks who posted these colors. They are our future. A big round of applause. Thank you. We have special dignitaries with us this day as well. We have our Speaker of the House, Albert Summers, who is with us, as well as other county, community, and school officials, and numerous youth leaders. A big round of applause for those good folks. And we are truly blessed to have with us men and women who have served or are now serving in the armed forces. If you have served or are serving at this time, would you please stand and be recognized with a round of applause? Thank you for your service, and thank you for our freedom. I also want to recognize and have a brief moment of silence for those who did not come home. Amen, and thank you. Godspeed. Welcome, the Center for American Values. What a great name and what a great mission they have. Their executive director, Sparky Turner, is with us here and has served for many, many years, especially in Wyoming through Daniel's Fund. A big round of applause for Sparky. This outfit is bringing one of the last 62 surviving Congressional Medal of Honor recipients in the United States here in Sublette County, Wyoming. And in partnership with that is the Sublette County BOCES and Robin Chamber. Thank you very much. Round of applause for those good folks. And also with us is Henry Jones, a board member of the center. He's a retired Denver police officer, and from what I understand, he used to have the detail that would escort dignitaries, especially Wyoming governors, senators, and representatives, to and from DIA, back and forth to Cheyenne and to Denver. It's great to have him with us, and when he did that, he wore a cowboy hat. Yeah. Big round of applause. Thank you. Henry Jones. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Liz Richard is a national leader in the education field who is working to strengthen and expand the center's civics-based education live and online programs in every home, K through 12 school and youth serving organization across the country. She was in the schools yesterday and helping them understand what it means to be a Medal of Honor recipient. We would now turn the microphone over to Liz Richard. Big round of applause. Thank you.
Good morning. I am so honored to be able to give you an overview of the Medal of Honor, and hopefully everyone can have a greater appreciation of just how special this day is. I had a great time with juniors and seniors yesterday, and today I get to talk to so many more, so I'm thrilled. The Medal of Honor is our nation's highest military honor for valor. And I've heard a lot of people say, you win the Medal of Honor. No, you don't. It's not a competition. It's not something you try to earn. As a matter of fact, the recipients have no idea they've earned it until that call comes from the President of the United States office. So the Medal of Honor is, like I said, that honor for the highest honor for military courage in valor. Valor's courage in the face of danger. But what does that medal represent? Well, those who wear it will tell you it represents honor, integrity, and patriotism. But don't listen to my words. Let's hear what some of our Medal of Honor recipients have to say about that.
Honor is something that you earn, but you never seek.
Integrity is your most valuable asset. And if you ever jeopardize it or lose it, you'll never get it back.
Patriotism speaks for itself. Love your country. Give back to your country.
In many ways, wearing the medal is much more difficult than it is to receive it or earn it. In doing so, you represent all those veterans that don't have a voice. And it's so important that we're able to express to the country what it is to be a veteran and to fight for the country, to make sacrifices for our way of life and our beliefs.
The Center for American Values is a feature attraction on the Pueblo Riverwalk. More than 100,000 students have participated, empowering them to identify and define the personal attributes that relate directly to American values. This hardcover book is a special collection of quotes that reflect the honor, courage, and humility of our most decorated war heroes.
We're so thrilled that at the conclusion of the program, we have those books for the students who are here. So we're thankful for the donor that made that possible. Just a brief timeline of events for the Medal of Honor. Two highlights: in 1861, President Abraham Lincoln was the one who signed the first legislation to put the Medal of Honor in place for the Army. That was during the Civil War time. 1,523 medals were given during the Civil War, which is quite a number when you hear the comparison, and I'll refer back to that. In 1956, we had legislation in place for Medal of Honors for all the branches at that time. We still only have 3 medal designs. Each branch designed their own medal. The one on the left-hand side, which you'll see bigger pictures of in the presentation, the one on the left-hand side is the Army medal, which our distinguished guests will be wearing this morning. And then in the middle is the Air Force design, also covering our Space Force now. And on the right-hand side is the medal that the Navy designed, and that covers Coast Guard and Marines. Our Medal of Honor statistics, one of my favorite slides. We have 3,517 recipients who have been awarded the Medal of Honor. And out of those, I said 1,523 were in the Civil War, so as you can see, past that time, we narrowed down the recipients as we identified exactly what it took to receive that. We've had approximately 40 million service members in the United States military, and if you do the math, Medal of Honor recipients is less than 1%. It's actually 0.00008% have received that medal. We have 62 recipients living today. That number is near and dear to our guest of honor, because just a couple weeks ago we lost one and had to change that number, and that was a dear friend of his. So the Medal of Honor recipients try to get together and are close. The city with the most living recipients at one time is proudly my hometown, Pueblo, Colorado, and also where the Center of American Value is. And we have our remaining living recipient with us. The other 3 have passed, but we're the only city who can say that we had the most living recipients at one time. And here we are. The Home of Heroes was a moniker given to us by a senator who was speaking about Pueblo, because President Dwight Eisenhower, when he was awarding Jerry Murphy, who's a Medal of Honor recipient, his medal, he said, "What is it about the water out there? There's something in the water. All you guys turn out to be heroes." So we're very thankful to be from Pueblo. But I gotta tell you, I have a nudge inside of me to move right back here to this beautiful place. What a place you have to live. Who is awarded this medal? So just exactly how do you get it? So the definition that's given to us is the medal is authorized for any military service member who distinguishes himself conspicuously by gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, while engaged in action against an enemy of the United States, putting their life, not their life, the life of others above their own life in an act of valor. What is the process? The process for earning the Medal of Honor is, first of all, the action is done, but 2 sworn eyewitnesses give statements, and they do this all unknown to the Medal of Honor recipient. 2 sworn statements. Next, the statements then are evidenced and gathered. The act of valor is gathered to make sure it is accurate, and sometimes that takes a little bit of time because credibility for that medal is essential. Next, the recommendation packets are approved through the chain of command, and the chain of command is intense in the military, all the way up the chain of command, and it goes all the way to the commander-in-chief. And students, who is the commander-in-chief? Who? The President of the United States. So the Commander-in-Chief is the one who gets it, but it goes through Congress first. It's actually a congressional medal. Congress approves, and it goes to that President, the Commander-in-Chief, who then, his office, contacts the Medal of Honor recipient, and that's when they find out. Recommendations must be submitted within 3 years of the act and then awarded within 5. That doesn't always happen because of the chain of command and the details of credibility, but that is the goal. So this is the part that really tugs my heart. These humble heroes, all of this happens without their knowledge. So often I hear the question, so why do they fight in the first place?
I didn't know what else to do. I'd never been to war before. I wasn't raised in Mogadishu. I don't know an RPG-5 from an RPG-7.
I think we were a nation at war. I don't think I would have joined. I know for a fact I would not have joined the military if we were not at war. I felt I was 18. I was pretty young. I was pretty naive. I was pretty motivated. I joined to fight and win a war.
I realized that as much as I wanted to avenge, as much as I hated what this enemy represented, I couldn't sustain it. I was empty. I was hollow. I couldn't fight my enemy because I hated him. I had to fight my enemy because I loved my country. I loved my friends. I fought because I loved. I defended because I loved my culture, my way of life, my community, my soldiers, my army, my unit, my nation. We fight because we love. That's how you overcome evil. That's how you overcome hate. That's what sustains itself, and that is why America will always be the shining city on the hill.
It is our hope that understanding more about what the medal represents gives you a greater respect. But the students I met with yesterday, I said, I want you to understand more about that medal and just how privileged you are today. And then secondly, more about standing up for your country and not thinking what others think, but thinking for yourselves. So we are honored today. The medal is to be held in trust, and we are honored to have our guest of honor. And now I'll turn the program back over to Andy.
Thank you, Liz, and the Center for American Values for helping to educate us. Ladies and gentlemen, Major Drew Dix was born December 14th, 1944, in appropriately West Point, New York, where his father was serving in the United States Army. Spent his formidable years in Pueblo, Colorado, and he is one of us. He loves to hunt and fish. He was in the junior ROTC, and once he graduated from high school in 1962, he enlisted in the Army at the age of 17, wanting to go into the Special Forces, but his age would not allow him to do so. He spent 3 years serving with the 82nd Airborne. Then in 1966, he turned 21 and joined the Special Forces. And in 1968, was deployed to Vietnam. Then Staff Sergeant Dix was awarded the Medal of Honor, the first Special Forces enlisted man to receive this medal. He saved lives, captured prisoners and weapons, put the lives of others in front of his own. It is the undying passion he carries to make certain that the extreme sacrifices of men and women in combat are never forgotten. Please turn your attention to the screen.
The President of the United States.
For the final time during my presidency, this House is graced with the company of the heroes who have scaled heights known only to a very few men in this land.
The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress March 3, 1863, has awarded in the name of the Congress the Medal of Honor to Staff Sergeant Drew D. Dix, United States Army.
Drew Dix is a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. As an Army Special Forces Sergeant during his first Vietnam tour, detailed to the CIA, Dix was awarded the Medal of Honor for heroic acts including saving lives, retaking important territory, and capturing enemy soldiers. He became the first enlisted man in the U.S. Army Special Forces to receive the Medal of Honor. Dix's military career continued for 20 years, including work in Greenland on a classified contract from 1985 to 1995 with the mission to establish ice stations on the Arctic Ocean to track Soviet submarines. Following the attacks of September 11, he was asked by the governor of Alaska to advise him on the strategies that should be used to protect the oil infrastructure in Alaska. He served as Alaska's first director of Homeland Security and retired from the state of Alaska as a deputy commissioner within the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. In a 2004 film documentary, Dix showed the humility and sense of duty we see so often in our heroes.
Anytime you receive notoriety or recognition in anything you do, your life is just starting. You should use that as a point to build upon, not just sit back on your haunches and kind of let life float by. Let's face it, if I'd done that when I was 24 years old, I wouldn't have done much since then.
His personal mission was clear: to create a national initiative to recognize and preserve the values our great country was founded on.
The founding fathers and those that fought in the Revolutionary War or were involved in the Revolutionary War, they were patriots, but not all of them carried a gun. I mean, they believed in their country. I felt that I needed to continue to serve. I'm retired. I retired from the military. I retired from another occupation. But you don't really retire. I mean, you just think of other things to do.
In 2010, Drew Dix became a founder of the Center for American Values, located in his hometown of Pueblo, Colorado. Dix's deep commitment to America and his passion for the core values of honor, integrity, and patriotism became the center's mission.
All of our vision is focused on family, community, and country. It's a foundation. If you don't have a strong family and a strong community values, you're not going to have a strong country. We all have an opportunity to serve. And some of us raised our hand to serve this nation of ours, and others can reach their hand out.
Drew Dix will continue in his quest to honor people from all walks of life who, through courage and dedication, have made extraordinary accomplishments. Drew Dix is a selfless hero who wants America's youth to recognize and truly understand the sacrifices made by others by providing unique educational opportunities through the Center for American Values.
Doing great work over there. Want to thank my dear friend Drew Dix. Thank you, Drew, for all you do and for all you have done for our country. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, at times the word hero is thrown around with reckless abandon. But we are blessed, we are honored, and we are privileged to have a true American hero address us. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and help me in welcoming Medal of Honor recipient Major Drew Dix.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Please be seated. It's really good to be here in Pinedale. You know, I'm from a little town just west of Pueblo, about an hour, in a community much like this one. And so it makes me feel good to know that there are other places out there where there's close family values, there's hardworking people. You know, I drive around here in Pinedale, and I see a lot of what I want to see in other parts of the country, and you know what? It's not happening everywhere. So be proud of where you are. Be proud of what you've got, and you've got a lot to look forward to. You know, I could probably just say, are there any questions? Because, boy, there was a lot about me on the screen up there. But I appreciate the introduction. And Liz, thank you for your work with the center. We visit with a lot of young people all the time. And I'm also happy to see a lot of veterans here, and you've got a great per capita veterans in Pinedale. And that makes for a good community because, listen to them, most of us that have served in the military, and especially served in combat, are the last that want to know that we're going to go to war. Absolutely the last. And the mission of the center is to recognize what folks have done to make this great country. Not what they've done, but what they were willing to do. That's what made us so great. And we should be proud of that. And I've also heard that someone mentioned here that you're America's future. That's kind of true. You are America's future, but you're America right now. How you act and what you do reflects this on this great country. So you heard a little bit about the Medal of Honor and what it means. I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about it and what it means to me. So you can imagine a young guy that wanted to be in the military and do good. You should all want to do good in whatever you want to do, whether you're a farmer, rancher, law enforcement, professional, in the trades, whatever it is you want to do the best you can. So I was in the military and I wanted to do the very best. Can you imagine getting a call saying you're going to the White House and receiving an award? I'm not too sure. First of all, I didn't know what it was for. But also, I'm not sure if I deserved it. Because actually, what I was doing was my job. It was my job to go and serve this country of ours with other individuals. And what makes the Medal of Honor so special to me, it is not recommended from somebody up here. It is recommended by those that you served with, that you fought with. And if you don't choose to be in the military and you choose to be in another profession, it's respect from those that you work with that makes you feel really good. So think about it. When the dust settled and I finally realized I was receiving the highest honor by our military, recommended by those that I had great respect for, that I fought alongside, it was just an overwhelming experience. And so I felt, what am I going to do with this honor? I'm going to continue to represent those that could not or were not honored with this medal because there were no witnesses alive that could recommend them for it. So I go through life wearing this medal the best that I can and do the best that I can for those that have done things far greater than mine, but there was no witnesses except maybe some supreme being, God, that knew what they did. So that's what it means to me. So what is the contribution that we can do for our country? You're doing it right now, being the best you can in whatever you do. Be the best student you can. Be the best person you can for each other. So I bet some of you think that the Medal of Honor, you receive it because you killed a bunch of the enemy, or you attacked the hill and you got to the top and you're the winner, right? You beat them back. No, you receive a Medal of Honor for sacrificing your life for those you fought with. And in most cases, those that we didn't even really know, except we just met on the battlefield a short time before. So think about it. Why do you do that? Every one of you could do the exact same thing and would do the same thing if you had the respect for those you were with and they had the respect for you. It's a mutual sharing. And that's what life is to make sacrifices for each other. And you do not have to be in the military or have a Medal of Honor to know you've done good. Believe me, there are so many opportunities out there, and this school right here is giving you a good start. To go out there and attack this world and make this a better place for you, your families, and your friends. And you can do it. When I think back at 17 years old, I went in the military. There's some of you out there that are 17. Maybe there's some 18-year-olds in this auditorium here, the gymnasium. Let me tell you, life gets really compressed, you know, when you're young and you want to do a lot. And you think, oh, things not working fast enough. Well, I was there too, you know. All of the older folks out here are just like you. And when you hear someone, your teachers, your parents, or whatever, saying, this is what it was like, believe them, they knew. They were just sitting in the same spot you are many years before. And they were figuring out, what are they going to do with their life? What are they going to do? Life's kind of complicated in my day, but it's really complicated now. If you listen to some of the stuff going on, there's no secret. People are looking for identity, and if you can't make one, you make one up. Let's face it, it's easy. You're a human being, and you were born with the opportunity to do good things, and you have an obligation to take care of yourself. And that's a good point, but the most important part of taking care of yourself is you take care of others because you bring those in that make your life better. Now, some of you are saying, what is he talking about? He's an old man. Well, because I was sitting in places just like you, and they brought in old guys to speak, and I think they were probably 30 or something. You know, I'm bumping, I'll be 80 this year, right? And so I know it's kind of hard to listen to an old guy that probably says they walk to school both ways uphill, to and from in a snowstorm. Well, I did walk to school in a snowstorm a few times down in Pueblo, Colorado. But anyway, life is a blessing. It really is. And while we all have heard that we should be individuals, I believe that. You should be an individual. But you can't be an individual at the expense of others. We're a collective country of individuals, but we also believe in something greater than ourselves. And you have to find what that is. It could be finding God, it could be finding whatever you believe that is something greater than yourself, because pretty soon, if we become a nation that makes special people out of everybody, then soon we stand for nothing. We have to stand for something greater than ourselves. And believe me, you will all understand that someday in your life. And I'm sure some of you have got it already. And the reason how I can tell that, I've been to schools. And I'm looking around here, and you guys you dress properly. You have good manners. I've been places that don't do that. In fact, they go out of their way just to draw attention. And I've looked at some of folks that were just really weird. And I said, why are you doing what you're doing? Because you're trying to get attention, because you got my attention, but you're not going anywhere in this world. You will not. You will go, you will be successful if you understand what the purpose of your life is. And you got a good start right here. So you wranglers, I love that term wranglers, because that means you're working people, right? Wranglers are wranglers. Now, my little town in West Cliff, Colorado, where I got a little ranch, I'll tell the Bobcats back there that I met some wranglers, okay? Because we got a few wranglers out there, but right now, it's getting harder and harder to find more that will want to do that kind of work. So anyway, I want to hear more about what you want to have on your mind and what you want to ask me, because you know, you're going to school and you're getting lectured all the time, and don't want to stand up here and I'm not lecturing you, but I want to hear what you have got on your mind, and that's important. So I know there's a few of you that have questions, and Ms. Richards over here, Liz, is ready with a microphone.
All right, Wranglers and those from Big Piney, if you have a question, you can line up on this green strip of gymnasium floor and quickly, come on, if you have questions. I know there's about 10 of you we lined up yesterday that are good. Come down for questions quickly. Come on, Wranglers. All right, just line up right here, and what a privilege to be able to ask Major Dix a question. So here we go.
Did you ever think that you were going to get the Medal of Honor?
Did you ever think that you would receive the Medal of Honor?
Did I ever think I was going to get a Medal of Honor? Well, let me tell you, I didn't even know what a Medal of Honor was for a long time. And I never met a Medal of Honor recipient until I received one. So it is pretty rare. And I'm very fortunate to be recognized by those I fought with. But that's a good question.
When I'm a junior at Pine Hill High School, and yesterday when we were receiving our talk, from the Center of American Values, it was mentioned that there was portraits commissioned of the Medal of Honor recipients, and that in your portrait, you included more people than just yourself. And I was wondering to ask, either who those people are or why you chose to include other people within the portrait regarding your award.
Okay.
So your portrait has 3 individuals with you. What are those individuals about, and why did you choose to include them?
The folks that I was with. Yes. So you have to have 2 minimum to recommend you for the Medal of Honor. But in that battle, there weren't many of us in there. And the other point, that's a very good question. I'm glad you brought it up. Because the unit I was in, we didn't get military awards. So I may not have got an award, except just so happened there was some Navy SEALs that were with me when the battle started. They recommended me for it. So most of them have passed. I see 1 or 2 once in a while. And in a photo of a book, and maybe on the screen you did see that, there were some other folks in the photos with me. And I was so adamant that I didn't want special recognition that I included those other folks in that photo of me. Jim Moore, who worked for the Central Intelligence Agency, Maggie Brancott was the nurse that we rescued, and one of the other guys, Nego, a Chinese guy that had been a lot of places with me. Now, they all recommended me for this, and I didn't know that they were doing that. But if that's a long answer for your question, but they're all doing okay. They're all alive. Did I get the question right?
Yep. Yeah, you did. Thank you. What drives you to come and educate schools like this nationwide, especially like smaller ones? What drives you to educate us about the Medal of Honor and share your story with us?
So what is your reason for being here? What drives you to do this? What you're doing today?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
So what is your driving force that causes you to come and talk to young people?
Well, that's a good question. And I'm so, 14 years ago when we created the center, we realized that things were changing a little bit, and we thought we better see what we could do to help out. And who would have guessed 14 years ago where we are now, where we need a lot of work to do. My driving force is trying to live up to the Medal of Honor that others that did more, far greater than what I did, never had a chance to wear it. And actually, one little bit of information is, of the 3,500 awarded, half wore the medal. Everyone else is posthumous recipient. About half.
Thank you.
I'm a junior. My name's Trevin Beal. I couldn't quite see on the screen if it said anything about it, but what day did you receive your medal?
So he didn't see, and let me just help, because you weren't in the classes that we did yesterday, but Major Dick's fought a 56-hour battle. He's one of the few recipients that has his Medal of Action Day in 2 days. So it's January 31st, what year did you receive, was your Medal of Honor action? What year? What year was your Medal of Honor Action Day?
Well, that was a lot of talking to find out what year. 1968. Yeah, one of the problems, I tell everybody to protect your ears. Now, a lot of mine we didn't, wear earmuffs because you've got to hear what's going on, but so I'm making an excuse for my hearing. But the echo is really tough, and hearing aids won't help. But anyway, it was 1968. The 56 hours was during a holiday period, which was a ceasefire supposed to be, and the enemy violated that.
That was a good answer, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here today. My name is Killian. I am currently 17 and graduating. My future goal is actually joining the military to serve my country. I'm wondering for you as well, that because since you joined the military, is there any advice that I should take upon for serving my country as well?
That was a great question. Any advice? He's 17 and he is going to go into the military as soon as he graduates. What advice would you give him?
This is a tough question. It's a good question, tough answer. The military right now needs the best we can get, better than ever before in our history, because the military is getting really small, and in numbers, so we need the very best. The one thing I will give you some advice on, and I do work with the military on this, is use technology as a tool. Do not rely totally on technology, because in a modern battlefield, that technology can go that fast. And will be relying on, and you will be relying on, your personal skills. And those of you from small towns like this, you got more going for the folks on the battlefield than some city folks. You really do. Again, use the technology for a tool, and use it now in your everyday life for a tool, but not a substitute for common sense and to know what you want to do and where to go and how to get there.
Great advice, great advice.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Next.
I should get down there and I could hear the echo. It's kind of tough, but.
Hi, my name is Nate McCann. I was wondering, what inspired you to join the military, and how many years did you serve for?
What inspired you to join?
Yeah.
And how many years did you serve?
Why did I decide to join? Well, first of all, I had great respect for my father, and he was served in the military, and I wanted to be like him. And then when I took junior ROTC, the instructor was an active duty sergeant, staff sergeant, and for some reason I really connected with him, and I wanted to be like him. And so at 17, I just couldn't wait to leave Pueblo and get in the Army and start to do what I could do to be like them.
How many years were you in the service? How many years total?
How many years? I stayed 20 years. I was a sergeant for 7.5, and then got a battlefield commission, and was an officer for 12 years.
What drove you to continue your work after things got tough and seemed impossible?
When things get tough and seem impossible, what helps you keep going? Why do you keep going?
I gotta ask that one again.
Things got tough for you at times. What was it inside of you that kept you going?
Well, when you are in a situation and things are really bad, and you know that you can make a difference, and you just have a feeling. And I knew that I was going to be able to do this. And it just kept me going, and the smile or the relief on the face of those civilians that I was able to rescue kept me going, because there's a lot of gratitude there, and they didn't have to say a word. I just 3 weeks ago, I got a call, well, an email first, and then a call from one of those civilians that I rescued living in Massachusetts, and I didn't know him at the time. I never saw him after. But it was kind of good to get a call from somebody that says, I hope I live my life worthy of the risk you took. He's obviously older than me, and he's probably ready to sign off and go to another place, but it made you feel good, or made me feel good, and that I was able to give that guy another chance.
Thank you. Good question. Students, let's move up a little bit. And
there
then,
you go. I can go. I bet I could hear it better.
No, you're good there. We need you by the microphone. You need them. Okay. Oh, I get it. Okay.
Hi.
Without it?
Yes, I hear that perfect.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and ask.
Echo.
Hi, my name is Delaney Day. I'm a junior at Pinedale High School, and I was just wondering, as youth in America, how do you recommend we spread patriotism to keep America the great country that it is?
How would we, that's a good question. How would we keep, how recommend the country to what we need to do?
Yes.
Okay, that's a very good question. You know, I've been in a battle and done a few things. I don't have the magic of what we need to do. But I do know that we need to go back to our gut feelings on what's right and wrong. Everybody here knows what's right and wrong. And we need to get back to that. We can't judge what's right, what someone else says is right. Does that make sense? It's because whatever they're saying might be for a different reason, for maybe personal reasons. You know what's right. Don't hesitate to follow through with what's right, never. And there's a lot of peer pressure, everybody knows what that is. I'm telling you, they all will side with you if you're right. And they believe in the same thing.
Thank you.
I think there should be more of that. That's a very good question.
Our media team wants me to keep the microphone.
What's that?
I need to keep the microphone. I'll repeat the question, okay?
Hi, my name is Josie Helm, and I was wondering, after you fought in the war, did you ever have PTSD? And for those who are trying to overcome it, what advice would you give them?
So when you fought, there was PTSD, but we didn't really talk about it. Did you have that? And then how do you help those who have it?
Well, you know, post-traumatic stress is a real deal, right? And it is not just in the military. It's someone that had trauma in their life, whatever they experience. In my case, I have traumatic brain injury, which has some of the same, I got shot in the head, right? But it rang my brain a little bit, but I was able to keep moving. And I don't have a serious problem with that. And I believe, you know, I'm not a clinician or anything, but I believe if someone has an issue, it's best to keep working to make life better and not become a victim. It is a real deal, but so is growing up. Everybody has problems in their life, and if you have a trauma in your life when you're real young and you let it bother you, can you imagine if you lived as old as me, how you'd be dragging that along? Try to solve that problem and be with other people that also have problems. I mean, everybody's got problems. It's how you overcome them is my solution, how I deal with it. And if there's veterans out here that have it, then I would say, you know, there's a fact in the military, post-traumatic stress doesn't kick in until you leave the military, even if it's 20 years and you retire and you had the experience 20 years before. Your association with others keeps you right. Because trauma and bad experiences are part of life. So hang in there and learn how to deal with your own by helping others realize the fact that they can overcome that too. So two things to take away from this. One, it's not a bad thing if you have it from the military, or if you're not in the military and you have post-traumatic stress, it's not a bad thing unless you let it become a bad thing.
Thank you.
Wonderful answer. I'm going to take 2 more questions. You guys can rock, paper, scissors. You want to see 5? Okay, we're going to do what the boss tells us to do. We're going to take all 5. Short questions, and then that's
please.
all, okay?
Hi, I'm Tegan Fieldy, and I was wondering, why don't some people wear their badges?
Why don't some people wear their medal?
Well, most do, but they don't wear it all the time. I wear it because this is not my medal, it's yours, it's everybody's. So I want everybody to see it. I have one individual that I know that doesn't wear his because he believes that he didn't earn it, that others in his unit did, or should have got it, but not everybody can get it. That's part of the tough part of the Medal of Honor is only one, generally, in a battle, sometimes 2. So there's the humility of it, too. But we don't wear it all the time. I don't wear it when I go to the store or somewhere. I just wear it when I want you folks to see it.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melly Wilson, and my question is, so when you saw your friends or peers get hurt in war, how did you deal with it?
When you saw others get hurt in battle, how did you deal with it?
Those are very good questions. In battle, when those get hurt, you have to respond to take care of them while you're doing your job. And it's a tough thing, but you can't let it take over. You have to deal with them. You have to be able to do what you can to save them. Now, when I was over there the first time, we didn't have medics or anything. I was just my only American with indigenous troops, and I took care of them myself. Now, when I went back over at another time and I had a infantry company in combat, I had medics, and we were in the middle of the battle. And the one thing American soldiers do is they take care of each other. And my biggest concern when was a company commander is in a battle is somebody risking their life to recover one that had been killed. We can get that later, but that's the passion that it has. So you don't look at it like it's a mess. You look at it like, I got to do something. I got to help them. You know, there's a lot of difference. You don't like the sight of blood? I don't either, but in a battle, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. If you cut your finger, it might be a little worse now than in the battle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What president gave you the Medal of Honor?
Which president awarded you?
Were you watching that film? That was President Johnson. They didn't say his name. I apologize. But you're not old at all. Now, President Johnson was younger than me when he presented it. But that was, see, the Medal of Honor recipients get an invitation to all the inaugurals. So I've met a lot of presidents. So the last act that President Johnson did was award the Medal of Honor to me, the very last thing. And then President Nixon took office in 4 days. So I've met them all since him, Johnson.
How did you feel when you won the Medal of Honor?
How did you feel when you received that medal?
Well, how did I feel? I was more nervous when I received it than I was in the battle, that's for sure. And the one thing you couldn't see on that film was my legs were shaking inside my pants pretty much. Because can you imagine a young sergeant standing there in front of the president, and your family's there, and all of the state, the congressional delegation from your state, and it's a pretty big deal. And I was really nervous. I was embarrassed almost. I hope somebody couldn't see my legs shaking that much.
And our last question.
I'm like wondering, what is it like being in the military?
What is it like to be in the military? You know, I heard the very last one. I heard perfect. No, the military is a very good profession. I was proud of it. I spent 20 years in, and some of the best, my best friends, like the veterans here will tell you, are the ones that you meet in the military. And there's some that I served with in the military that I've never seen since, and if they walked in here, it'd be like a real close cousin. I mean, you're maybe closer, you're really tight. So I think the military is a good occupation. This country needs the military. And my last words on that is, as I already said this, those that have been in combat are the last that want us to go to war because they've seen the horrors of it. But a strong military keeps us from getting into a war. If we have a strong military, we're not vulnerable, then I think it's our greatest chance to avoid getting into another war. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Major Dix. You may be seated for one more moment here. We appreciate the Center for American Values, and we appreciate Major Dix and the time they have spent with us. There is a gift that will be waiting for you as you exit. Principal Briscoe is going to explain that to you here in a minute. Sponsored by Marathon Petroleum. Thank you to them. But one last thing, as you receive this quote book and as you receive these small flags, please treat them with the honor and respect that they deserve. The same honor and respect you would give a full-sized flag. Thank you, Principal Briscoe.
At this time, I'd ask that all the veteran volunteers please go to the different stations. I would like to give one more round of applause for Drew Dixon for him taking the time out of his day to come and visit with us. We appreciate you, so thank you. As we get ready to leave, there's a gift for you as you leave, and I ask that you respect it in the manner that Mr. Nelson talked about. Every one of you will be receiving a book and a flag, and I hope that you take this book and you take the time to read it and look into it and learn some wisdom from it. As we exit the building, I'm going to ask you to go to different locations. And Pinedale High School, I'm going to ask you to stick a little bit longer so we make sure and get everyone through. Pinedale Middle School, please pay attention. You guys will come over to these tables. You will go through, you will grab a book and a flag, and you will exit out these doors right here. Big Piney, I ask that you go to this table over here. Mr. McKelkey, you'll get your book, and then they have other stuff for you as you leave. So if you'd go there. Pinedale High School, you will exit on this side. And then if you make it through and you don't have a book, I will have you stay back and we will get you to a table. So Pinedale High School and Skyline will go there. If you don't receive a book, I'll get you to a different table. At this time, you are free to get up and go receive your book.